Hello, this is Reverend Joseph Andrew Jensen, Sr. Um, I'm just getting settled here. I'm going to try to hold this. I actually shouldn't because I'm already shaking. I'm going to move this computer. Okay. We'll go back to the same thing I've been doing. This is going to be a very clear video because right now it's June 25th. Okay. In 5 more days by June the 30th. Uh, I will have my checking account available, not to everybody, but to the banks. To the banks, because I don't need your money sent to America by mail or coming in by mail. You go because it's going to start at your banks anyway. You go to your banks, you open up a God's Coin account. On June the 30th, your banks will have my checking account number to transfer those funds. I'm asking for 100, not dollars, but 100 of whatever money you have anywhere in the world per family member. Okay? Per family member. Whatever, if you're in the Colombia, South America, you get the Colombian peso, you put 100 Colombian pesos. Okay? Um, I don't know if that should be right or not because in Colombia, 100 pesos is hardly nothing because almost everything is by the thousands and what we call the mil. But whatever, 100 units of your money per family member. Okay? In America, that's $100. Where I just came from in Jordan, that's 100 dinars per family member. Okay? Before then, I was in Cairo, that would be 100 Egyptian pounds per family member. Selena, you hear this? You're in a household with your mother, your father, your brothers, your two brothers. Okay? I think you either got one or two brothers, I'm not sure, but whatever. You're with your family members, whoever's in that household, can put the 100 Egyptian pounds per family member in the bank and have it. Everybody anywhere that puts anything in the bank, have it earmarked for God's coin. Then I will tell you, or your bank will be given the checking account number to transfer those funds, that 100 uh, units of whatever currency that you're using in your country, times the amount of family members. And the family members don't have to be related, nor does their age limit. It could be a newborn and it could be the very old. Okay? There's no age limits. Whoever's in that household, because it's the way God's going to work. It works by the household. So a lot of times friends live in the household. It could be relatives. It doesn't have to be a relative. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? If it's a person that's adopted or whatever the reason. The person in the household that's going to be there a while. But these are the donations that are going to be made from June the 30th. I will accept donations. We're talking about a unit, 100 units, up to 100 units per person. Ready? Not just we donated, this is an investment. Because on November the 17th, of 2024, which is 144 days from now, on God's day, the, the money, the funds will be made available at 50,000 times whatever sum you deposited. Okay, 50,000 times whatever you invested. It has to go through my bank to be awarded. To get the 50,000 times, you would have had to be before this having been awarded the God's coin. God's coin has to be received by my bank. Then the God's coins are automatically awarded by how much it received from your bank for you. We know how much to award you. It'd be the same as the units of money. How many units of money that we received in your units? Whether it's peso, whether it's dinars, whether it's Egyptian pounds, whether it's Mozambique metal, whether it's whatever currency you have. That's what you're going to multiply times 50,000. If you're in the United States, you'd be $50,000 times the amount of people in the household. This is the only time when God's coin will be made available during this time for the next 144 days. Then it shuts down. It shuts down temporarily because we got into the world. Then it goes back to the plan that's already been mentioned when I started with the letter to Donald Trump. Maybe Donald Trump will actually pay attention and read the letter and pay attention to the letter the day after elections. Maybe. Or so. Doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be Donald Trump that becomes a quintrillionaire. He can be worth 5 times. You know, a quintrillionaire has 12 zeros behind the amount of money that they have. E to the 12th power. This is a lot. You know, when you're talking about $1 trillion, you got 8 zeros. I know it's tens. No, it's actually, I think it's 8 or 9 zeros. Anyway, whatever. It's a lot of money. Nobody's going to lose any money because they invested in God. You guys are going to understand this. This is serious, and the reason why it's serious is because these people that take advantage of the next 444 days, hopefully it's everybody in this world. If everybody in this world, I would have 9 billion God's Coins accounts open. It's going to be a perfect way in the future to know the census of the world. Just ask the banks. Just ask God's Living Ministry. Because overall, my God's Living Ministry is going to be billed for the God's Coin and know exactly how many people there are. In fact, every account is actually a member of God's Living Ministry. Because the day that they went to the bank to open those accounts with every family member, if they received a phone when they're 18 years old or older, or they didn't, whether it's a newborn, makes no difference. They were still members. And they will still have given God their hands, their feet, and their mouth to get there. They will owe God and know God is a living God. He not only gives them everybody their next breath, but he's giving people the means to build their little piece of heaven on earth. Due to the God, the only person responsible for this kind of money getting in their hands will be God, a living God, not a ministry, not my church. A church is not my church anyway. It belongs to God. It's why it's called God's living ministry, and God's alive. If you got a statue hanging on a wall, and I don't really care if it's Jesus Christ, then that's have them produce proof. I think Jesus can produce proof and has produced proof within myself by giving me the gift of tongues, the gift of right thing. I didn't have these gifts before I was a Christian. Why? I mentioned before, generically, God is dealing with everybody in this world and all future generations. He has a lot to do and has very little time to be. He can't slow down too much. He's very busy. When he created you was when he decided who your parents are going to be. He knows he had to look at you. He created you ahead of time, the same day, moment right after he created there. In other words, when God was, and just think about that, when God was creating the platypus, or when he's creating the moose, I mean, he put these animals together, and he looked at the mother and the father, and he designed the children. They might have been two different species of animals at one time, but he put them together and decided what you're going to look like. The outcome of two different. That's what he said. It's a deep thought, isn't it? This is how God gets you thinking crazy. And I'm autistic, and I can get off on tangents. But let's not get off on tangents right now. Let's talk about reality. Reality is we're 144 days from God's day. Now, if that was we were talking about D-Day, we'd be talking about war in a past war. We're talking about BJ Day, we'd be still talking about a past war with Japan. We're not talking about a war situation. We're talking about a day when everybody's will have cash money deposit available to them in their account, provided every bit of that money is backed by God's coin, dated, provided they're within the 20-year limit of God's coin. Okay? God's coin will never be transferable. It will never be able to be counterfeited. It will never be able to be used as extorted, transferred, whatever. All data in banks is going to be illegal soon because everybody's a voter that gets God's coin. In this new world, it's everything's going to be transparency with government. There'll be no tax collections. There won't even be criminals. Why can't there be criminals? Because if a criminal is going to receive God's coin, him and his family, or her and her family, they have to. You don't want nobody messing with your money. And you can certainly mess with the God's coin, because God's coin is subject to whether you behave or not. I can put a suspension hold of your money, make you go home, sit on your hands for a while, don't get involved, especially the politicians, what they should do with politicians. Anytime anybody comes under super suspicion of anything, send them home. Don't let them get involved. Don't let them say another word until they've done complete investigation, and make those investigations come out of their own pocket, their own bank. Pay for their own investigation, so it doesn't matter how much it costs. This what I'm saying is everything in this world is going to be turned around. Everybody will be a voter that has God's coin, that's 18 years old and older. The phone, everybody that's 18 years old to 40 years old will be in God's services. And because they're being paid, because there's not going to be anybody working that costs their employers anything, it's all free labor. Everything's going to be taken free. Healthcare is going to be free. Daycare is going to be free. Education is going to be free. Everything. Road work is done by people, just like it was in the military. You're going to learn a trade and a job for the rest of your life and get certified as a nurse, or certified as a road worker, certified as a foreman, certified taught on more years, so you can actually own your own business and be in business and know what you're doing. That's like an officer. When you sign up in the military, you stay in long enough to be an officer where you're actually getting into the business parts. A person that becomes a doctor takes so many years to become a doctor, not just to learn how to work on people, but he has to know the whole business. Anyway, I'm gonna make this real short video. It's my third video. It's very important. It's to the point. I'm not gonna keep rambling on because I'm running out of days to get everything together before things start coming in. On June the 30th, I'm hoping people start seeing these videos, and the number starts going up on people that see these videos. You realize that if you haven't seen these videos, or when you see these videos, if it's 10 days later, 12 days later, 50 days later, how much time you wasted? Of course, I'm only allowing each one person to get 100 units per person in the family. If I was telling everybody to turn over all their fortunes, they would be turning over their fortunes. Satoshi Nakamoto or Jeff Bezos would be turning over his $202 billion right now, rather than know that as soon as November the 17th. You see, right now it's like an even trade. It's actually not even an even trade. You're going to give 100 God's coins, 100 units of your money, and it's going to be worth 50,000 times more per unit. Well, it's really not 50,000. It'd be worth 5,000 times more. So 5 times 100 is 50,000. So it's going to be worth 50,000, because if you gave up to the max 100 units, that could be Jordan dinars, Colombian pesos, Mexican pesos, whatever you gave up to 100 will be multiplied by 5,000, which could be up to 50,000 times more. That's just what I'm trying to say. It'll work out. You're not going to lose money. Let's put it that way. And on that day, those funds will be available to you. The world will surely wake up, because this day is going to be called God's Day. It'll be known the rest of eternity as God's Day. The day that God came back to start creating heaven on earth. He's not just circumventing the skeptics and everybody in this thing. He's not counting on your belief in God. He's not counting on your acceptance. He's just making something available, money available to you, which if you don't believe in it, certainly don't donate no money, or don't go for the money. Stand out, fight it, fight me, fight God. Makes no difference, because most gods didn't want to do this deal anyway. I mean, I don't know most gods, but I do know there are gods in other people that do not want us, do not want to negotiate like anything with us. They don't trust us. They don't like us. They hate us, and some of them hate us. Why? Because God, we have abandoned God, and we're just as evil toward God more evil toward God than anything else in this world there is. Because even if you prayed 1,000 times a day, if you're praying in vain and you don't know God, you're looking for God somewhere up in the sky in the universe, and you're going to a church to find God, you certainly missed the point because God's right there inside you. That's hypocrite. Not that's worse than hypocritical. That is blasphemy. It is. Man is not realizing how would you like to be ignored? I can't get into all this. Not this time. You guys understand and think about what's going on. Don't think we've done such a good job on this earth, or we done a good job for God. We've done a terrible job with God, to the point that God doesn't trust us, doesn't want us. He would love to leave us to. I talked about the pill that was developed. Don't you think that if they finally released a pill, even with prescription, that it will be put on the black market for those who can't get the prescription that still want it? Don't you think that people can make the conditions bad enough to want to that everybody will want to take the pill and die rather than stand this earth and keep on being tortured by in which ways when some people suffer, maybe somebody turned off their electricity or closed their bank account, those simple things like that, where other people are actually tortured and they kept from their food. What do you think about the Palestinians in Gaza Strip? These pills are going to be a way out. And how many people will be killing them? They'll be killing themselves by the millions. This drug will be on the black market. They can give it. If they can get it by prescription, they'll get it by the black market. This world is not is in some kind of la land if they don't understand that these things are going on behind their backs, and they've been going on for behind their backs. That's why the urgency. Why the God inside me wants to create heaven on earth right now in the urgency, and why I keep making this so important. So this limited time, this next 144 days, is going to be critical to this whole world, that they'll start understanding when they start seeing who's getting so much rewards and what happened. And he said, whoa, and that happened, and we missed our opportunity. You didn't miss it. You just said, because everybody's still going to get God's coin, but not in that kind of, not in the same way. It's going to be done in a way that's I already talked about in the previous, as mentioned on our website. It's mentioned in Donald Trump's letter that he didn't read or respond to. And these things, okay? I'm going to end this call thing. I even got a phone call right now, and things are getting loud around here, which is opposite as been. Okay, things are getting busier. Okay, I'm just going to close. I'm not going to tell everybody I love them because I don't even know who you are. Those that I have met in there, I say thank you. I love you guys because I met you. Those in Jordan, those in Cairo, those in Burundi, Bujumbura. Not everybody in Burundi, Bujumbura. Those I met on the plane. Those are people I met at the stations. Those people I talked to on the bus. Those people that I talked in the taxi cab drivers. Those people I talked to in restaurants. People I talked to at that when I stayed at the Nomads Hotel and in the hotels, at the hostels for for a month. I've met a lot of people from all over this world. China, Japan, Korea, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, every country, America, Yeah, I got to go. Thank you. I'm going to go. Goodbye.